Hello, chess family. It's me, National Master Jesse James, and it's time for another Monday Instructive Chess Miniature. Here we go. We got the H pawn story, and I'm not going to try and pronounce these people's names, but they're very good chess players. Here we go. We start off with e4, e5, bishop c4, the bishop's opening, knight f6, and pawn to d4, the Bonzini gambit. And knight takes on e4. Not very good. Here white has an advantage after d takes on e5 because, well, there's a tactic here already that forces black to move the same piece twice, knight to c5. Here I've played quite a few people and they've played bishop c5 in these kind of situations, and already it's white to move and win. Can you find the winning idea here? Alright, hopefully you figure it out. Remember, I do encourage you to push pause when you're watching these videos to figure out either a strategic idea or, in this case, a tactic. Here there was two winning ideas. Here you can either play queen to d5 for a double attack for the queen to attack the knight, and also on f7 for checkmate. Or you can play bishop takes on f7 check, king takes queen e4 check, and I guess the king goes to e7 here, or f8. And then queen takes on e4, and again, white just has a huge advantage here. With that being said, black knows this idea and plays knight to c5 here. Let's go ahead and keep chucking on. Knight to f3, bishop e7, bishop to f4. I like this move quite a bit because, well, white just got a really big space advantage because black can't move forward over here. And with this bishop move here, even if black does try to push through, in the game he just played knight c6. If he does try to push through here, you can give him an isolated pawn after pawn takes. And, well, if they take back, then it's isolated. So you play bishop takes, queen takes, and c takes. And here we have the isolated pawn. And white just will have a good game here, as this is going to be a weakness in the endgame. Knight c3 and then castling queenside here, and I'm very happy. So I really like this bishop to f4 move because it's saying, hey, you're not moving this pawn anytime soon unless you want to go into a losing endgame. Alright, knight c6, knight c3. Knight went to e6, a nice little move here to attack the bishop. Bishop retreats, keeping pressure on this d6 square. Castles kingside, and I like the way the white plays it. Queen to e2, telling black here, well, you know what, I'm going to castle queenside and keep the pressure on this d-pawn. And this is really the worst part for black here, is that they really just can't move the d-pawn forward. So they really have no space in the center here, at least controlling with the pawn. And also the bishop's having a hard time getting into the game. Here black pushes hard and plays pawn to f5. And I don't blame him for this kind of move because, well, typically when you're pushed up against a corner, you want to try and fight back. And f5 is definitely one of those moves. Here black would have loved to have seen e takes f6. And I guess bishop takes on f6 here. Again, white's still better in this position, but at least black got rid of the pawns here, and the game's getting a little bit more active for the pieces. Of course, white did not want to do this, instead develops with a threat. What's the move here for white? Simple chess, we castle queenside, and here we're already threatening bishop takes e6 check, because then we could take the queen. Alright, what happens next? Queen e8, moving out the way here, of course not going to fall for that little trap right there. And, well, what do you do with your extra space? You got to use it. Let's start pushing our pieces up forward. Here, you could move your rook to e1, but this is called the h-pawn story. So here, white went ahead and played knight to d5 with a nice little threat here. Again, if you're not paying attention here, you can lose this game quite fast. For instance, maybe black looks about playing something like pawn to f4. Is this bishop over here trapped? No, it is not. Knight takes c7, taking advantage of the pin here. So we're just going to be winning some more material. And, well, the opening of the h-file here, too, won't even help out black at all. So, black played king h8, now knight takes c7, there's no more pin here, and knight goes to f4, stopping this whole idea from happening. Black went ahead and played pawn a6, and now, well, what do you play here? Let's keep this attack going. Alright, hopefully you know the h-pawn story. Here he comes, Harry the h-pawn, at least that's what Simon Williams would say, and I definitely love that idea. Here comes Harry. He's going ahead and helping out, controlling these squares over here, g5, g5, square, so maybe the knight can jump in there later. The knight jumped to a5, trying to harass this bishop, and the bishop took pawn takes, and here he comes, knight to g5. Of course, if the bishop takes, h takes g5. Oof, you can already see that Harry's out the way here, and the h-file's opened up, and this rook that was once bad is now definitely one of the best pieces on the board. Oof. Alright, back to the game. After knight g5 was played, black dare not take. Instead, black went ahead and played bishop c5 over here. Well, what do we do now? Oh my gosh, I think you're going to like this move. Rook to d8. What does this move do? Is this not just like a free rook? Well, it is if you're not paying attention here. And pretty much black is all but forced to take. Okay, I guess we have to play queen takes d8 here. If you play queen e7, well, the same idea will happen. I don't want to ruin it for you. Why did white play rook to d8? Well, it's all about one tempo here. After queen takes d8, why did white play this move? Hopefully you can find it. Push pause if you want to. All right, hopefully you see it. Here, the reason why we sack using this deflection sacrifice is because we want to get our queen to h5. And here it is now forced checkmate. There is no way to stop it. 16 moves by computer. Of course, it's going to be a lot less because this is a human playing here. Black went ahead and played pawn to h6. And if you're wondering why the rook had to go to d8, it was because the queen was on e8 guarding this square. So it was a simple question to yourself. Well, I want to play queen h5, but the queen was in the way. So you play rook d8, forcing the queen out the way. And then once the queen got here, white knew that this was just going to be a forced win. Here, black tried to play h6, trying to guard the h7 square. Can you find the next move here? All right, hopefully you found it. It was queen to g6 here, again threatening the checkmate at h7. Wait, can't they just take the knight? They can, and they have to. It's the only way to try and escape here. King g8 doesn't even get to s7 as the knight is guarding here. So after pawn takes check, opening up the rook file over here. King went to g8. And now, what do you play here? There's actually quite a few moves to win here. But here, well, white went ahead and played queen h5, which makes a lot of sense. The idea is that you don't want to allow the king to go to f7. For those of you thinking queen h7 check, this lets black off the hook as king f7. Let's see here, g6 check. Well, queen h5 check is the best move here. But if you were going to do that, you're allowing the king again to escape over here. Again, knight g6 check, you can win the exchange, but this is not going to be winning the game like you want to. Here, of course, the move was queen to h5, not allowing this king to escape to f7. They call this the escape square, and you want to control this. Black went ahead and tried knight to c4, saying, hey, I got some checks over here. Well, after you calculate for a little while, you go ahead and say, this is not a threat. Pawn g6 got played. Queen check, king to b1, knight check, pawn takes. And, well, just like whenever you're dealing with grief, there's 5 stages of it. The last one being acceptance. I think the first one is, what is the first one? My bachelor's is in psychology. Oh, the first one I want to say is you do not accept it, right? Well, here black was just not accepting it, but he got to the final stage, which was acceptance. Here there was no way to stop the checkmate, so black went ahead and resigned. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this nice game of the H-Pawn story. We'll see you in the next one.